Today we're going to take a field trip class. Now, just recently I posted a video about how liberals are narcissists, how they're downright mentally ill. How like this is why you constantly see them posting these trigger warnings over the most inane nonsense. Because to you it's inane. These aren't real human beings. These are dirty little lizard creatures that are terrified of getting kicked out of the tribe when we all realize how worthless they are. And so this field trip today is to a blog post by Ariel Meadow Stallings from the blog Offbeat Empire. And you know what? As much as people like to joke about black families giving their kids really stupid names, Ariel, Meadow, Starling, Pony Twinkle. Poor kid never had a chance. Good God, aside from the one time she was conceived, I'll guarantee. You know what? I'm not even going to speculate on her parents' sex lives. That would be inappropriate. Anyway, she recently wrote a post on liberal bullying. And the interesting thing about the post is that she cops the fact that's not the right wing that bullies. Now, we can get a little bit pushy sometimes. We're kind of rough and tumble sorts of people. We don't take that much offense on things. But we don't bully. We don't go somewhere and try and hurt somebody for the fun of hurting them. At least not usually. But when we have a bunch of psychotic monsters running the world, I personally think it's a perfectly valid response to just tweak these people's buttons in a way that a human would never find offensive. So she wrote this post because on their idiotic left-wing feminazi newsletter, whatever it is, they constantly have a problem with liberals coming on and screaming about one another. Is it GLBT or is it GLBTQPR with transgendered squirrel studies? Or what is it? I'm more liberal than you are. No, I'm more liberal. Heck, on that video I recently posted, I had a liberal come on and accuse us right-wingers of being obsessed with labels. I've got about 8 labels you could happily apply to myself, and I'm friends with monarchists, paleocons, neocons, free market anarchists, monarchical anarchists. We're trying to come up with a sensible system, but we're not obsessed with the labels. Who we are is who we are. We're discussing ideas around here. Some ideas are going to be better than others, and, you know, debate will hopefully come up with the best thoughts. Liberals, meanwhile, are desperate with belonging. Absolutely desperate. Because they don't belong. They can't earn a position. They're not confident in and of themselves. They know that they're failures deep inside. And so they create all these labels and these subgroups and these subcommittees. And each one, it's basically a game of musical chairs until, you know, the last one gets to be the Stalin. Bit by bit, they'll all write each other off as evil right-wingers. And so Stallings is beginning to notice this. And she commented that occasionally somebody from the right wing will come dump some hate on them, which is really just part of the internet. It's anonymous. You can just go yell at somebody without even having to do it to a stranger in public, which personally I think is more fun. But, you know, people go and dump hate. But it's the liberals that cause the major bullying issues where she has to ban people. And I left a comment saying it's funny that she's beginning to notice that the roots of her movement are Stalin, that progressive politics is Marxism, it is communism, it is authoritarian dictatorship, turn everybody into a replaceable cog and set fire to the cogs that you don't need anymore. Maybe she's ready to come to Jesus. But I can't without it. So I said this is a field trip. The funny thing is that she tries to come up with a right-wing, hate-filled stereotype, and the only one she can come up with is Fred Phelps and his lunatic cult of 30 people who are mostly related to him. And actually, an interesting thing, I went to a speech delivered by his son at the University of Calgary. Um, and his son was just quite sad about the whole thing. How he says, like, it's really just this hateful, anger-filled cult, but it's not right-wing. It's not left-wing. It's just this really weird cult that protests about how God hates fags at soldiers' funerals. I've never seen anything about political ideology from these people aside from uh, God hates fags and he hates everybody but the Westboro Baptist Church. And yet she keeps referencing them in the article, talking about the God hates fags people. Even the hardcore Christians in the alternative right don't hate homosexuals. They think it's unhealthy and immoral, but they don't hate homosexuals, except they hate them so much that they think marriage should be between, a man and a woman that have a child. And crazy people. Anyway, link down below to the blog. This is a perfect exploration of liberal cognitive dissonance, of their personality disorders, of their insanity, their psychotic behavior towards one another. Funny enough, just how dysfunctional they are. I highly recommend you watch it, because I'm linking to a video by the Critical G, who is a very cool dude, by the way, an excellent orator, so be polite in his house. And always remember, the way you get a liberal to commit suicide is not by yelling at them. That just feeds into their delusions. Treat them like the silly little children that they are, and you will have them standing on the edge of the balcony. Best of luck, folks. Be polite. Rainy out.